All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Man Therapy. I'm Dan. He's Kyle. And we're on a Monday today. Usually we record on a Friday, and it's a little bit of a different vibe because it's a Friday, beginning of the day. Here we are Monday in the afternoon. How was your weekend?
Man, it was to be super honest, it could have been better. It was like temperatures were in the 90s and humidity was in the 90s, and it was just nasty outside. And I like to get outside and get stuff done and get the kids outside to play, and I felt like we were just trapped inside. And here we are at the end of the summer, like, they're bored, they're at each other's throats. So it could have been better. It could have been worse, but yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining, but it was kind of
Right.
rough that it was so nasty out that even just to like take the garbage out was, you just come in soaked with sweat. So it was nasty out.
Yeah.
But we went to a movie, so that was good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, how about you?
So my dumbass, Saturday, my dumbass is like, I'm gonna mow the yard, and it's it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. But in our town, it was it was overcast, right? And so overcast, and I was like, it's not so bad. But then the clouds got out of the way, the sun came out, and I had to stop mowing my yard 3 different times just to sit down and catch my breath and hydrate and then force my way back through it. And I ended up like with a headache at the end. And I sat in my garage with this oscillating fan just blowing right on me. My wife comes home from the store. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, "I'm trying not to die right now." So, keep moving.
just having my first heat stroke, honey.
Exactly. My first heat stroke of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another thing I want to talk about.
Let's hear it.
About men. Okay. I don't even know how to, it's not embarrassing because I didn't even know I was doing it. Okay. But usually I wear sunglasses when I'm outside. And let me just, it's almost embarrassing to mention it. Okay.
I'll say embarrassing stuff to you.
Okay. So we were in St. Louis on vacation, not last week, but the week before. And we went to this play. It was called the St. Louis Museum or City Museum or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was awesome for kids, right? And there was a mom there. I don't know how to say it other than she had a rockin' body, just like the perfect body, right? Summer tan, perfect body, athletic. Like she just looked beautiful. Okay. And I got busted looking at her, not by my wife, but by her. Right.
Oh.
And so I'll be honest. There are times when guys will just like, oh, I see them, and then they look, and then they just go about their day, right? I didn't even know that I was doing it. So my question is like, I don't want to sound like a creeper here, but that's probably too late. But I'm just saying, like, there is something in our system, in our blood, in our genetic makeup, right? That when men see that, they look.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, is that wrong? Like, I don't know. I was like, I don't even know if I could have fought it, to be honest with you.
Right. I mean, you can't not notice things that are in your field of view. And also men are very visual, especially sexually. Men are very visible. They can't help but be attracted. Then it's just up to you to make the wise decision to not pursue any attraction that you have. But yeah, no, I think that's hardwired, dude. It doesn't mean that you like want that person. Doesn't mean you're ever going to do anything, anything devious or ever take any steps about it. But no, I think if everybody in their heart of hearts were honest, they would say, oh yeah, it's not that I don't think that anybody's attractive anymore once we get married, Yeah, that's funny that
Yeah.
somebody just kind of captivated you for a moment, and then just tell me about the moment that she saw you. What? Just tell
It
me
was,
exactly what happened, because it sounds
this
hilarious.
is what, this is what happened. It was like I was in a trance. Okay. And I was just like, this is so like,
Yeah,
it was just like, uh, like just,
like a junior high
I don't
boy.
even know, just like Beavis and Butthead, right?
Yeah.
Just like Beavis and Butthead, and just like, like that's what was I in my brain going on.
Right.
And then she's like, I don't know if she like felt a disturbing presence
Yeah. Oh, I bet she did.
or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
But dude, I she kind of she was like messing with her kid, and then the kid ran off, and then she kind of stood up and she was looking around, and then she saw me, and my eyes, I just went like this, like I was looking at her, and then I went like
Oh
just
my
a
god.
blatant
It made
look
it even
away,
worse.
just a blatant look away, like
Oh
I
no.
wasn't like, and I
That's
like in
hilarious.
my head, then I snapped into reality, and I was like, I can't believe, like, let's not, and I didn't even have my sunglasses on, right? So my sunglasses were on my hat because I was inside the building,
Yeah.
and maybe I thought I had my sunglasses on, because let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
It's summertime. There's women walking around all over the place. And, you know, it's just, sometimes it's just a glance. Sometimes it's not. I'm not the only man who does this. Okay. I do it to my wife every day. Every time she walks by, my eyes are just whoop, booty, whoop, booty. You know, just like,
Yeah.
I can't help it, dude.
Right.
I literally can't help it.
I wish I could have had that caught on video. You know, that's probably a lot more awkward for you than it was for her, because she probably experiences that all the time and has for the past 20 years.
Right. Right.
Man.
Right.
That's funny.
And so I don't know. I don't, you just, and as a man, if someone says, Dan, if you were to do that again, what would you have done different? And I'm in my head, like the Neanderthal part of me is just going, nothing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Right. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to walk away. And right now there's probably maybe there's someone listening to this going, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's he's just garbage.
Pig.
And I'm just like, I'm sorry. I literally could not help it.
Yeah.
I literally could not help it.
Yeah. No, I love your honesty. I love your transparency. Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate and connect with that. I don't have a very specific one off the top of my head, but I'm sure that's, you know, it's, I think every guy probably is afraid of that happening.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
Yeah. Oh, I was embarrassed. I'll be honest. I was embarrassed. Like, oh, what? So I just turned around and walked away. Right.
Oh,
but
man.
at the same time, here's the next question.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point in the courting between a man and a woman where a woman accepts that. I mean, our wives, maybe, like, when I was courting my wife, right? And before we were married and we started dating, there was a time after you start to get comfortable with each other, you get into like the stage where everything is really sexual, physical, touching, staring, commenting, things like that. And the women are okay with that. The women are okay with the person that they're with. Maybe not some stranger at some kids museum,
Right.
but the women were okay. Our wives at some point were okay with our just Neanderthalish behavior.
You mean towards our wives?
I'm sure,
like your wife was okay with you doing that, treating her that way. Yeah.
Yeah. At some point.
Yeah.
It's not the same anymore.
Right.
Right. Like I think if I had my way, my hand would be permanently on my wife's butt all day. Like, that's if I had my way. Right. But that's not reality. Right. And so, and so I feel like men don't really grow out of that stage in their life. Some maybe do. I guess I don't. I haven't yet. And women, or I think we talked about this a little bit last week, women definitely grow out of that stage, but I haven't yet. I don't know. Like I feel like I'm almost hoping that I calm down.
Yeah.
So at some point, but at the same time, I don't want to, because that tells me like I still got it. I still got it.
It's a part of who you are. I actually think you should fully own who you are, and then just choose healthy behaviors. Have you ever? I can't remember if you've ever told me. Have you ever done like testosterone replacement therapy or anything like that?
Yeah,
that's a personal question.
So
Feel free to say as much or as little about that as you want.
No, I think we might have even talked about it once on this podcast, but I can't remember if I did or not. But here's the weird thing. I tested my testosterone a while ago, and it was not good. Like, it was extremely low, extremely low. And so I got on it. And then I got off of it because of some of the side effects, like acne. Like, I was getting really bad acne. And I don't really know what the deal was, why I was getting the acne.
Yeah.
We worked real hard to try to fix that problem, but it didn't work. So I ended up getting off of the testosterone replacement therapy. Then recently, 2 weeks ago, I got my blood tested again, and it's still extremely low. It was still extremely low. I think the cutoff is like 300, and it was right around this 300 mark. And before, it was below the 300 mark. So from a blood work, my testosterone is low, but from my perceived manly, I don't know, like, I feel like my brain hasn't changed much.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That's exactly, and I'm not, obviously I'm not a scientist to know exactly like the connection between testosterone and, say, sex drive or energy level and whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's I think the lay person probably thinks high testosterone is probably connected to high sex drive. So earlier in your life, when you had low testosterone before you got it tested, like, would you say, actually, let me just ask you this. Has there ever been a time in your life that your sex drive just dipped? You just noticed was just diminished or down for a while?
No, not really.
Yeah. So yours
not that I'm aware of. But my low testosterone was because of, I don't know what it was from per se, but the result of my low testosterone was me waking up in the morning after 8 hours of sleep and feeling tired and unmotivated all day long. And then going to sleep, sleeping 8 hours, and then waking up and being like, I didn't even sleep an hour.
Yeah.
Right? And I went through that for like 3 or 4 years. I think we talked about this on another episode of, like, I was having bad thoughts too. For a period of time where I'm not going to use the word suicide, because I did not have those thoughts, but I was having like negative thoughts about myself. Like, who are you? What are you doing? Like, you're not worth anything, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Along with just being tired all the time, no energy, no motivation. And then I started that TRT. Holy shit, dude. I mean, you want to talk about it was like after a week or two of it, I woke up one morning and it was like, oh, like angels were singing, dude.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's go. Right.
Yeah.
And then obviously you get all the benefits of being on increased testosterone, like getting stronger, losing fat, having more stamina in the gym, and like, all that stuff was real. I could go to the gym and work out 4 hours if I wanted to.
Nice.
And don't feel like I needed rest. And then here's, to be honest with you, there was only, other than the other negative side effects, the other side effect is having a partner who was in their 40s and, not quite at the same sexual, like, libido wise, I guess you would say, not there. And then you're on that, and that just cranks up what you already have.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It could almost be treated as that's a side effect of that. And some people may say that's a good side effect. In a married man's case, that might not be the best option, especially if your partner isn't into it as much as you are.
Yeah.
Because then there's a little bit of frustration that goes along with that. But I'm off it now.
Energy.
And when I got off of it, it was like this trickle down effect. So I didn't notice an instant change. but yeah, my energy is lower now, and uh, I've been thinking about getting back on it because I mean, it was such a great thing. Like it was an
Yeah.
amazing thing, that feeling, but I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
see.
maybe just a lower level. I'm highly interested
Yeah.
because I recently had, and I'm still coming out of Bell's palsy, and I went to
Mm-hmm.
get I was gonna go get get my blood tested for Lyme's disease because those two can be connected. And I was like, oh, you know what? While I'm at it, I'll just do a full physical. It's been a while. It's been a number of years since I've done that. So let me do like a
Yep.
full blood test and, test for all the things and, test for testosterone level and all the stuff, which I'm interested 'cause I haven't gotten the results back yet from that. So I'll
Yeah.
just be interested to see like what that says and if that indicates that TRT would be useful because I actually feel tired a lot of the time and wake up not
Mm-hmm.
refreshed at all, have no energy, and as I'm just like completely scraping myself out of bed in the morning to like
Yep.
work with the kids and stuff. And so yeah, I'll just be really interested
Yeah.
to see what that says.
Yeah.
But I
One
won't
thing
be
about
against taking TRT, doing TRT.
Oh yeah. Yeah. One thing that I've been struggling with lately is earlier this year, I went to go stretch out my back and I had a vertigo episode, my first
Oh,
vertigo episode ever.
oh,
And I honestly don't think I fully recovered from it. And I actually,
mm,
when I was in St. Louis, I had another little episode of it where it feels like you have this giant hangover and you don't feel like you have your balance and everything together and all that
uh,
stuff. And I've been doing some, these certain movements to help correct it. But dude, vertigo is no joke, man.
I've heard it's
I didn't
miserable.
realize how bad it was, but it sucks, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I've known people that have had to deal with that, and I've from people that I know that lay down. They just like
Yep.
they put up with it for as long as they can, and then they just lay down and they just rest.
Yep.
Man, well,
Yep.
that's too bad.
That's where yeah. Another thing, and this is going to lead into this the topic today. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm 44. I'm going on 45, and I this year has been a gigantic indicator that my diet plays an absolute huge role in how I
Mm,
feel.
mm. Yeah,
Like
say
if I
more.
have too much sugar, I feel like shit. If I have too much salt, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Um, I have to eat fairly clean. And when I do that, and I'm saying like right now, I am in a blizzard a day type phase type of deal
Ooh,
where
ooh.
summer's winding down. We're trying to do fun things with the kids,
A
and we're,
blizzard a day.
I'm
I love that.
I'm doing a blizzard or, something from Culver, some ice cream dish, high
Yeah.
sugar, and I'm eating that. And then like, you can just tell, right?
Oh, yeah.
Caffeine is affecting me. Like I used to be able to crush caffeine, and now like too much caffeine, you get the jitters, and I feel like it's affecting my vertigo in some
Yeah.
situations like that.
Yeah.
But man, I'm not, so there's a Toby Keith song, and I'm just like, I'm not as good as I once was, my friend.
Yeah, that's one of the weirdest things about getting older. It's just how all of
Yeah.
those things that change. And every trope is true. Everything that you ever hear as a kid, every joke about getting old, and you think it's all a joke, and you think it's a bunch of old guys complaining, and then every single one of them just slowly starts happening to you, of your
Right.
metabolism going down and like your body just betraying you and your body breaking down and
Hmm.
like you think you're young, so you go to do the thing and then your body just doesn't do it like you thought that it would, and all the things that's like, oh my God, it's almost like you have to get to know yourself again. That might be a bit of an overstatement,
Yeah.
but I think it's accurate in a lot of ways. Like, okay, well, who am I now? Because I still think I am who I used to be, and my experience now is telling me that I'm not. I'm not who I
Oh
was.
yeah. 100%.
It's
Like
different.
I agree with that comment more now than I ever have before, because I mean, you know what sucks is being able to do all these things. And then all of a sudden, here I am going, well, shit, I can't. Like, I mean, I've quit drinking. Like,
Yeah.
I've mentioned before,
Yeah.
I should probably stop eating a blizzard a day. I should stop eating as much sugar. I
Right.
need to change my diet and get into these routines. But I feel like our entire lives are surrounded with, like, with blizzards and women in yoga pants and just like all of these all of these things that are just tempting you, like just a every gas station now has scotcheroos setting right by the register,
Yeah, right.
right? Or
Right.
cookies right by the register where they're
Yeah.
just there. All you have to do is slide them into your pile of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude. It's just
Oh, I know. Yeah, I
fucking
have to be
temptation.
I
Yeah.
think, what I'm realizing is how, like, to be a grown up, to be an adult, really, in a lot of ways, means being purposeful. I think,
Yeah.
our topic of the day was, like, what do we think is how do we think about adulthood now, and how do we think about masculinity now differently now than we did when we were kids and when we were in our, early 20s and stuff. Um, a kind of an assumption that I always had was that, like, I would mature out of certain behaviors, or like, oh, when I'm that old, I just won't want that anymore, or things like that. And now I'm
Mm-hmm.
realizing, like, oh, I'm 42 and I still do want a Blizzard today. I just shouldn't have it. And so now it's like, it's just now it has to be willpower. Like, I just kind of always thought, like, oh, yeah, when I'm in my 40s, I'll just make the responsible 40-year-old decisions and I just won't have that. I didn't realize how much of a battle it was going to be to, like, be disciplined and to
Oh,
read.
discipline.
I
Holy
wish I would
shit.
have realized, I wish younger Kyle would have realized how important it is to cultivate discipline,
Mm-hmm.
and been flexing that muscle and building that muscle all the way along so that you don't get, like, way behind the eight ball and be like, oh shit, I should have been doing better. Because now I do have to exercise discipline, and it's obviously the thing to do. And I take full ownership of every bad decision I've ever made to get overweight and not sleep well and drink alcohol. Like, I own all of that. I'm not saying, poor me, this just happened to me. Like, I don't think it just happened to me. I know it's dumb of me to eat a bunch of food and then go to sleep. Like, I know that's dumb. And so now it's just like, all right, you, like, to be healthy really has to be purposeful and requires
Yeah.
some sacrifice, or reconceptualizing it in your mind to not see it as a sacrifice.
Yeah. You know what?
What?
Now that we have both shared that we have this common issue,
Mhm.
one thing that my wife's gym has is like this accountability group
Oh.
where you know what we should do, Kyle?
What?
If you're in for it and I'm
Okay.
in for it,
Okay.
maybe we should be accountability partners
Okay. Okay. Say more. What's your
where
vision?
my vision is maybe a text message a day. What'd
Mm.
you do today?
Okay.
And you know how men are. If you text me, hey dude, I did 100 push-ups today
Yeah.
and then I walked a mile, or I passed up a blizzard today
Okay.
and I ate a blizzard and did 0 push-ups.
Yeah. I
That's
own
a
you.
little bit of competitiveness
Yeah.
there, that where it's like, Jesus, man, Kyle's winning.
Yeah.
He's won today in a way.
Right. I
And then
like
at the
that.
same time, it's like, I don't know. Are you down for something like that?
I'm down for that. Yeah, I'll start it. I'll
Okay.
start it right now. This is a good timing for me, because actually, just last week I was just putting a lot of thought into my lifestyle, and I was like, I just can't
Mm-hmm.
can't keep going the direction I'm going. I've got, like, all these little excuses, and always loved the expression, excuses are like assholes. Everybody has one, and they all stink. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I keep getting hurt. I try to be physically active, and I keep getting hurt, so it prevents me from being physically active. Then I sit around and I'm so bored that I eat because I'm bored, or
Yep.
whatever the case may be. So I'm just, like, ballooning, and I'm like, Kyle, you cannot keep doing this. You can't go down this path. So last week I
Yeah.
started intermittent fasting again, and because I did that
Mm-hmm.
before, I've done that before in my life, and I loved it. So
Yeah.
I've started. I don't eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I ate right before we started this today, and then I stop eating at something like 10 o'clock at night. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so then I'm fasting from, say, 10 to 2, and then I have, like,
Yeah.
a certain amount of calories that I'm allowed to eat between 2 and 10. And I just
Gotcha.
feel way better doing that. I feel more clear-headed and whatnot. And also, it's funny that you say a blizzard today, because, dude, I also have a huge sweet tooth. It's
I do
totally
too.
my Achilles heel. And
Mm-hmm.
I it wasn't that long ago, maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago, I gave up sugar for a year, and I felt night and day difference. And the reason I did that is because things were getting really bad, and I was gaining a lot of
Yeah.
weight. And I was like, dude, you just, out of necessity, you cannot do this anymore. So I gave up
Yeah.
added, like, extra sugar, like sweets and ice cream and treats and stuff. Gave all that up, and for like a year, and it was awesome. It was like probably the best I had felt in forever. And was going to the gym, and the thing that always knocks me off track, which is where I think an accountability partner could be especially good for me, is I do really, really well as long as I don't have like a physical injury. Because as soon as I get exercise
Mm,
taken away from me, my mental side slips really bad. So like if I'm like
yeah.
working out, then I'm like, dude, I'm working out. Like I worked out today. I don't want to eat something that will like negate the effects of my workout, you know?
Yeah.
But if I get hurt, like I dislocated my toe about a year ago, and I couldn't like be super like physically active on my feet for like a month and a half. Dude, that was enough time for me to be like, oh, you know what? I'm kind of hungry. Oh, I could have like this little snack. I could have this little treat, and that wouldn't be that big of a deal. And, oh, once a week, that's no big deal. And then that turned into every night, you know? So
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
could be really good for me to like stay on track even when things aren't optimal.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Um, dude, because you're right. I have some shoulder issues and some knee issues. And here, I don't know. Like, I'll be honest, Kyle. I am a procrastinator to the core,
Yeah.
right? And I am that guy. And this is the thing that I hate about myself the absolute most is I am okay with waiting until tomorrow to do some certain things, even if
Mhm.
it's a big goal of mine.
Yeah.
Um, and I have not realized that more than I have in the last 2 months, especially for fitness. Like, dude, you have time to go do do push-ups and sit-ups in your own house. You're
Yeah.
just choosing not to do it. You
Yeah,
have
that's
the
right.
time, right?
Absolutely right.
And so I it sucks to realize that. But at the same time, let's be honest, it is uh it is a awakening of sorts to
Mhm.
where you can go, "Hey dude, I just have to fight that guy off." If you're tough, you can fight that version of yourself off and you
Yeah.
can get into the routine because when we were going to that gym uh, that we used to, man,
Yeah.
it was some of the hardest workouts I have ever done in my entire life. And I'm talking 1,000 calorie workouts where we
Yeah.
were burning 1,000 calories in 1 hour.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
We were coming out and we were going there tomorrow, the next day, without blinking an eye. And we
Yeah.
got into a routine. Our body got calloused to it. And it was I was in the best shape of my life at 40, 41 years old,
Mhm.
period.
Mhm.
And now here 3 years later, I'm probably in the worst shape of my life
Yeah. I'm in
right
the
now.
worst shape of my life. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
All right. When should we text? Like
I say end of day,
I
like
say end of day.
7, 8 o'clock at night
Yeah.
after the activities are done when we're resting and
Yeah.
we're just like, okay, what'd you do today?
Yeah. Okay.
And so here's what I do. I'm just going to tell you right now. Here's what I do.
Let's hear it.
I go hard right off the bat.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm that guy who I'm going to probably text message you, dude, I did 100 push-ups. I walked 3 miles, blah, blah, blah. And then
Yeah.
for like a week, you're going to go, this dude's crazy, man. And then the next week, you're not going to get a text from me. And you're going to be like, what'd you do today? Oh, shit got away from me. And I got to, you're going to
Right.
hear that from
Okay.
me. And that's where the accountability partner goes, pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just a
I'll
little
lay
bit of
into
that.
you.
Yeah, that's what
I'll
I'm
lay into
saying,
you.
dude.
We'll do some
I'm
not
that
safe.
guy who needs that.
We'll do some not safe for
Yeah.
work texting for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Absolutely. Okay.
Cool.
All right. And yeah, I
Cool.
want the same. Don't take it easy on me.
Okay. And when are we starting?
Tonight.
Tomorrow?
Tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow would be the classic
Okay.
answer. No, tonight. Yeah, it's got to be
Yep.
tonight.
Tonight.
Because I've
Okay.
already done good today. I'll be excited to report. So far, I didn't break my fast until 2, and I've only eaten healthy stuff, and I don't have any plans on eating anything bad. And so now I got to think about how I can possibly get some physical exercise in. I'll just have to make it happen. Because
Yep.
to your point, it's always
So,
possible.
yeah. So I've already sabotaged my day. My mom showed up with homemade brownies,
Huh?
cookies, lemon tarts, and dropped them off at my house. And I've had 2 brownies and 1 cookie already today.
Yeah.
And so I've
you sabotage
ruined
the
it
first
for
half
today.
of your day. That means the
first,
second half is
exactly.
really good.
Exactly. That's
Second
what I'm
half
saying.
and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey,
That's good.
I'll take that.
That's
All right.
right.
Starting now, digital handshake. Digital handshake. We are accountability partners.
All right.
Good. I like that.
Got it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Okay, so tonight, and that it'll be on both of us to text.
Yep.
And you have to be
exactly.
honest. No lying.
Exactly.
No lying.
No lying. Because that only hurts yourself. And why would you want to lie to a friend? Like,
Right. Yep.
oh no, I did great today, and then not do great. That's a shit move. You
Today
know what
was
I mean?
awesome. I totally didn't have 2 blizzards. I'm doing way better, dude. I got a medium blizzard instead of a large.
A large, yep. Yep, exactly. I only stopped at Dairy Queen once today.
Yeah, I mean, I got 3 blizzards, but what's your blizzard go-to?
My go-to blizzard is a peanut. Well, actually, my go-to blizzard is a Reese's Pieces blizzard with malt powder in it. Reese's Pieces, not peanut butter cup. Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I always get the chocolate extreme, and so I get the chocolate extreme blizzard, and then because I super love chocolate, and then I'll say, give me a disgusting amount of whipped cream on that.
Oh man, just self-loathing at its finest.
I've told the person behind the counter, like, I want you to look at me differently when you hand me this blizzard. Put that much whipped cream on it. Yeah, put a gross amount of whipped cream on this because I also love whipped cream.
Yeah.
Why don't my pants fit?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Can't figure it out.
Okay, Kyle. The definition of a man is a weird one, right? We hear that in the news. What is a woman? What is a man? And then there's all these weird things that are happening with that these days. Okay. But I want to talk about today what the definition of a man means to you, or what a man is to you now versus maybe what it was, or what you think a man was in the 50s, 60s, something like that, as opposed to what it is today.
Yeah.
I just kind of I want that to be the topic, and then I would just want us to float all over it.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, so can I just go with my stream right now? Stream of consciousness? So, when I think about how I conceptualize being a man now compared to what I thought it was when I was a kid, dude, it's honestly a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I really thought I was just going to have it all together. When I was a kid thinking about my parents, I remember just thinking they should just have it all together. I thought it was something you basically just couldn't even help but mature into. I remember one time we were on a family vacation and somewhere on the East Coast. I think we went to Washington, D.C., maybe. Let's just call it that. And we were driving around and this is before GPS and all that. And my parents, I don't know that we got lost, but we didn't know where to go. We didn't know the direction. And I was like, how can you not know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, on this family trip, how did you not study the map and know? I just thought that I would know. I thought that my parents should know everything. I just thought they should know. They're old. They should just be the experts on everything. And I remember them being like, oh, okay, well, next family vacation, you can plan everything then. See how much fun that is, or see how well you can, know where everything's at. So I just really had this assumption that it was going to be easier. I thought it was all just going to come to me. And I'm really realizing that it's adulthood is just a series of purposeful decisions. And the more engaged you are in your own life, the better it is. And the more hands off you are, avoiding responsibility and all of that, and just hoping that things go okay, the worse things go. And so I have to be so much more purposeful in life as an adult than I ever thought I would have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a quote a long time ago, and I don't know where I heard it, but it's one of those quotes that it is stuck with you, right? Because at 45 now, I catch myself doing immature things still, right? That maybe a man shouldn't do sometimes. I don't know, right?
Right.
But one thing, this quote was, you will never truly be a man until the day your father dies.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that has kind of stuck with me in a way where I look at my dad different now than I did when 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I look at my father now with so much more respect and honor than I did when I was 20 and younger, 25, maybe even 30 and younger in the last 15 years. And all the sacrifice, not this isn't just towards my dad, but all the sacrifice that he has made for this family, me and my brother.
Yeah.
And what he did in his entire life, that it was basically every decision he made was for his family.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And so my mom and dad got a divorce when I was younger. And I was just like, I didn't understand that because it was like when I was in third grade. I understand a little bit more of both parties in that scenario now. But at the same time, it's just like, I understand as a 45-year-old that, there's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like, I have so much more respect for him now than I used to, because I am now wading in the same waters of parenthood and responsibility that he's already been in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, just so much more respect and honor of what he has given to me and my brother and now my family over his life. And I just, the respect level skyrocketed when I started to realize that.
That's good. That's good. That's when I heard you say that, I obviously was parallel processing and thinking about, like how I feel towards my dad. And I think what I'm about to say is like a me issue and not a him issue. I think a thing that I've always done in a place that I'm sure I've matured some, but could stand to mature a lot more, is like, I still have this thought of like, you should be doing better, or like I'll do better when I'm that age, not realizing that like when I get to that age, like I'll be dealing with like really difficult things too, So again, I'm not saying that he's not doing well or not doing things right. That's not what I mean. I mean that I have this like, I've always had this naive judgment towards what my seniors do, of like, oh, why are you doing that? Or why are you doing that like that? Like, there's a better way to do it. Like me thinking I know it all as a younger person.
Yeah.
That when I get to be, that age, that I'm actually probably not going to be doing all that much better. You know what I mean? Like that's a part of me that, like, so that could be like done in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. Like in a healthy way, it's like, oh, I see the things that you're doing and I'm going to like purposefully make sure I do better because I've learned from your mistakes, so to speak, or I've seen like you've done your best, you've gone as far as you could. I'm going to take the baton from there and go farther. Like that'd be a healthy example of how to look at it.
Right.
The unhealthy way
Right.
is what I catch myself doing sometimes, which is just like naive judgment of like, oh, you should be better than you are now. Like my dad didn't take very good care of himself and is now suffering health issues because he didn't take care of himself very well when he was young. And here I am judging. And then I said probably just 10 minutes ago in this same conversation, I'm in the worst shape I've ever been in. And it's like,
exactly.
I need to quit with the naive judgment of my elders and like really turn the mirror on myself and be like, dude, it right now is the time to walk the walk.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. All the
exactly.
talk does not mean shit. It's like, you have to walk the walk.
Right. And my dad was really good at business, what the job that he was doing for all those years. And it's like, I am trying to almost impress him in that
Yeah.
aspect. Like
Yeah.
I want to be successful in my business. Like me and my dad we're completely different parents. Like I am a different parent than him, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Here's what, like, as far as my dad is concerned, my dad got a divorce. He didn't want the divorce. My dad did not want the divorce. My mom
Yeah.
was the one who wanted the divorce. I'm not going to get into that.
Right.
He had to get remarried, or he didn't have to, but he got
Yeah,
remarried.
remarried.
My stepmom died of cancer, and within the same year, I believe my stepmom, it was close, a couple years. My stepmom died of cancer. That was a 2-year process, and then my grandma died as well. And now my dad, other than the family, like, he's alone in his own house, right?
Yeah.
And so I look at my dad and I say, I go, the dude has suffered loss, okay, in his life. Um, he's worked extremely hard building what he has. Very impressive, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want, dude. If my dad wants to go to Colombia and do blow off a prostitute, go for it. Like, I like, that's obviously an overstatement, but
Right.
that's what I'm getting at is like, dude, do you? Because
Yeah.
you also realize that life is short, and you got to go big while you have the opportunity in this life. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he put so much time and energy other places other than himself that he now deserves and has earned the right to go do whatever he wants
Yeah.
to do. And so that's not for me to judge whatever he
Right.
wants to do.
Right.
Um, but guess what he's doing? He is
What?
still being in he's now granddad. He's now grandpa. He's now that he comes to a ton of sporting events, all the way from my little niece, who's 4 years old, to her little softball games and
Yeah.
maybe even like dance recitals and stuff, to my oldest daughter's wrestling tournaments and everybody in between. Like,
Right.
so, and he's doing it not to check boxes, but to do it because he loves them.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, like I said,
That's beautiful.
I don't know. Because back in the day, I was always like, oh, dude, he works too much. He's going to kill himself. Like, and he had a heart attack. He had a heart attack when he was close to my age, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just out of high school, and I think he had a heart attack. And so, um, but I look at that, and now I just, like, he's made the correction, he's fairly healthy. He's active as shit. He's 70 years old tomorrow.
Mm.
And I don't know, man. Do you look at your dad different now from a husband and father standpoint than you did when you were, even 15 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's interesting
Hang on one
because
second. Do you think you were too hard on him in your own head 20 years ago?
hmm. Hmm. Um, I have to put a lot of thought into that. Um, Off the top of my head, no, not necessarily. I'm I'm a big proponent of, like, you get to decide what you do and you get to decide where you invest your time and energy and
Mm-hmm.
how your decisions affect everything, and you have to own that. Um, mm, I think there's a lot of factors that go into it, and without being in his head, I don't know exactly why he, did behaved in every way that he ever behaved. But he wasn't really all that engaged with us when we were kids, and he worked a lot, and I respect him for that. He had good jobs. He was a mechanical engineer, and some of those jobs required him to work like a ton of hours, and I respect that, and I know that sucks, and he did that diligently, and I'm sure I've no doubt he was really good at his job and all of that stuff. Then outside of that, then I felt like he had like hobbies that he was way into, and he would also make decisions that would kind of, it felt like he would continuously put himself and our family behind the eight ball financially, that then he would have to like work really hard to dig out of. But I kind of saw like a lot of that as his own doing. And so I felt like we were always in financial stress, but didn't need to be. And
Mhm.
so, so so no, I think like, and actually like kind of as I've gotten older, a big part of me is like just kind of allowing him to own that. Like it's not that I've doubled down on my judgment of him. It's not like that, but it's really kind of more
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know what? Like I could do that too. I could have like super expensive hobbies that I just did all the time, and I could get in over my head financially and then have to dig my way out of it. And my life would look a lot like his did when he was my age. And then my kids' lives would look a lot like my life did when I was a kid. But I don't do that,
Yeah.
like there was actually like uh, there was a like an acreage that was for sale near actually a mutual friend of ours, and my wife and I were like looking at it really hardcore. Like it's definitely a dream of mine to like, live outside of town and have some land, and be able to be as loud as you want and have more space and all of that. But I also don't want to be house poor. And so we were like
Mhm.
really looking at this acreage, like, gosh, could we do it? Could we do it? I think we actually could, and we actually could have, but it would have made things unnecessarily tight, and it would have then
Yep.
made doing other things that we wanted to do hard. And so we made the hard decision, like, you know what, we're not going to do it. We're going to forego that awesome opportunity to have that awesome property that we could have had, um to so that we can actually have more comfort for our family. Because we've got our house is on a 15-year mortgage, and just like so many people, luckily our mortgage is at like a freaking 2.3 interest rate or something crazy. Might even be lower than that, and our house will be paid off in like 6 years or something. We're like, just stay the course. Like, this is what we've set ourselves up for this. The interest rate was luck, but like we've set ourselves up to have our house paid off in 5, 6 years. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so like, why start
Yeah.
another 30-year mortgage to do that? Because I want da da da. So this is a long way to say I could have gone after big things that I wanted that would put a lot of financial strain on my family, which would make things really stressful. And I chose not to do that. But I feel like
Right.
my dad, and I'm not shitting on him, because my dad has a big heart and he's an awesome guy in a ton of ways. But it was just time after time after time after time of like of our family being behind the eight ball and struggling. And so he didn't come to our sports stuff when we were kids, and really thought that a lot of our activities were a waste of time because we should have been working around the farm doing stuff that didn't really need to be done, but he made it so it needed to be done. And he had a really, really expensive hobby. He collects and restores antique cars. Like, that's a really expensive
Yeah.
hobby, especially when you're already
Yeah.
like, if money's tight and then you have like a really super expensive hobby that also takes a shit ton of time, like that's just not an awesome formula for like feeling comfortable in life. So I've
Yeah.
actually gone a different direction. Like I'm extremely engaged as a father. And I feel like, and again, no shade to my dad, but I feel like I don't even have a template for how to be engaged as a dad. I'm like really learning.
Yeah.
Like my kids are definitely, I think I've said this to you before, maybe even in this podcast, but like I've already decided that I'm sure this is inevitably going to happen when my kids are adults and they come to me at some point and say, "Hey dad, like I really wish that you would have done this and this and this differently. And I think you made this and this mistake." I think I'm going to say, "Yep." I'm just going to own it. Like, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I did the best I could. All of those critiques are accurate. I'm even glad that you see that. Like, go do better than me. Like, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. I did the best I could. Go do better than me, please. I will be happy if you do better with your kids than I did with you, because I feel like I didn't have much of a template for. I had no idea how to interact with kids. My dad didn't go to a single one of my extracurricular things until I was like a senior in high school, and I was a starting running back on the varsity team. That he started coming to my football games, and because he
Yeah.
could hear my name over the loudspeaker, and then he just kind of used it as maybe this is too judgmental, but my perception is he kind of used it as like social hour. He could go and like talk to the other parents. But that was the first time
Mm.
he ever went to any of my stuff, and also made it
Dude, you were
clear.
the starting running back?
Fullback. We had a star tailback, so I was not like the star
Yeah.
running back. In fact, I think I was a pretty shitty running back, but um, yeah. But
You
I
you
started.
you started blocking for him.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I think just for misdirection, they gave me the ball every once in a while, just so they couldn't totally cue on our tailbacks. Our tailback was one of the best in the
Exactly.
state.
Well, that's
Yeah, but
awesome, dude. That's
yeah,
awesome.
but point being, like, he didn't come to
Yeah,
any of that stuff, and I do. Like, I go to all my kids' stuff, and I don't see raising kids as the
100%.
wife's job. And like, I'm right
Mhm,
there with dishes, and my dad never did the dishes even once, and my dad never vacuumed, and my
mhm.
dad didn't clean anything. I do all of that stuff, along
Yeah,
with my wife. And I go to doctor's appointments. I take my kids to appointments. My dad never went to a doctor's appointment, never took us to any appointments. Never took. I don't think he ever came to any of the like this morning we took my daughter to school to meet her teacher and drop her school supplies off. um I did that. I made sure that I was there. My dad never did any of that. And so, I don't. There are some ways that I look back and be like, yeah, I really respect what you did. And then there's also other ways that I'm like, yeah, I actually don't respect how you did that. And I think you could have done that
yeah,
differently. And I guess maybe we just have different values around that. And all of that being
yeah,
said, I know for a fact that my dad's dad was not nurturing to him. So I think
yeah,
he was doing the best he could. I think my dad didn't know how to interact with us until we were adults. Basically, he just didn't know what the hell to do with kids. So I think he basically just stayed away, because when we did interact, it was like he just wanted us to work with him or for him. And then that was not pretty, because he has two different personalities. His work personality is like very high strung, quick to anger, quick to temper. And then
yeah,
his non-working personality is like really fun, jovial, quick-witted, funny. Like, I actually think I think I get my sense of humor from him. I think that's one of the best things that I like about myself is my sense of humor, and I think that largely comes from my father. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of things about how he was when we were little that I've kind of used as a pattern of not to do. And I don't want that to
yeah.
sound too harsh, because right now I'm only talking about those negative things. There's a lot of positive things too, but um, yeah, I think the older I've gotten, 'cause I think the original question was like, are there ways that you respect him now that you didn't
Mhm.
before? I'm sure that there are, but I also like what immediately comes to mind are like the decisions that I wish he would have made that he didn't.
Yeah. So here's what I will say um, about that generation. Um, you are coming off of a generation where we had the 1980s recession, right? They lived through that, especially if you're a farmer.
Yep.
Um, you had Vietnam War. Was your dad in any
Nope.
wars?
Nope. Nope.
No.
Luckily, he went to college, so he was able to get out of that.
Yeah. So what about the grandparents, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah.
World War II or
Oh, yeah,
something
yeah,
like that,
no,
or
yeah, oh,
Korean War?
absolutely. My grandpa was in World War II, and my grandparents lived through the Depression. And uh,
Depression, yep.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. That was rough stuff for sure. I have all the
Yeah,
respect in the world
exactly.
for that.
And I am not sitting here defending anybody, but what I'm saying is culturally,
Yeah,
the man was a different man when our grandparents were going through the fatherhood process.
right.
And now our dads are a different version of that. And then we are also a different version of that.
Totally
Now,
agree. Totally agree.
and I think that, like product of the environment might have a little bit to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I mean, I always feel like if my grandpa was alive today and saw how I interacted with my kids, like he would just be like, dude, what a sissy. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like the culture of the definition of what a man's responsibilities are, not only financially, but as a husband and as a parent, are have changed so much because culture has changed so much. Like, I don't even know if my grandmas ever questioned a decision that was made by my grandparents. You know what I mean?
Right.
It
Right.
was, it was, we're going to do this. And then that's what happened. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Oh yeah.
That is not how it works today,
No.
right?
Largely
The
no.
man
Yeah.
is not like, I don't know about, I mean, I'm sure there are certain rules. I'm not saying I'm going to base everything off the law of averages here.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that a man isn't the main breadwinner anymore, like from just working and the wife stays at home, like my
Oh yeah.
grandma did,
Single single
you know,
single income households. Yeah.
single income. Yeah. That kind of stuff,
Yeah.
which gave the men a little bit of leverage into decision making. Like, dude, this is my money and we're going to do whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because I'm the one who's working. Right. That doesn't happen anymore. You know, I'm guessing a majority of the households in the United States, the man and the woman are working.
Two
Both
earners.
parties
Right.
are working,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I look at that, and from a fairness standpoint, just imagine if me and you were like, dude, it is a woman's job to do the dishes and laundry. I'm not going to do that shit,
Right.
right?
Right.
That's not in my eyes. That's not acceptable. So I participate in a majority of the household chores,
Right.
right? Or like
Right.
all of the household chores.
Right.
And she does too. And
Right.
so taking kids to doctor's appointments, like we are as close to 50-50 parenting and responsibilities as humanly possible
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
You know, speaking for myself, of course.
Yeah.
So my definition of a man has changed in the way that, hey, listen, man, you got to do whatever it takes to keep the household moving forward. And if that means folding laundry and scrubbing toilets and doing the dishes, then that's the job that you do. Right.
Right.
Um, and I mean, it comes down to, I feel like there's a blurred line between man or husband and wife or man and woman of the house, because we're both working, we're both doing the same household, that the traditional definition of what the bullet points are around the house for a man and woman
Yeah.
are different.
Yeah.
Therefore, the definition of what a husband or a father or a man does is different.
It's a good point.
But what I'm getting at here is, but at the same time, it really hasn't changed from the aspect of, man, you just got to do what you got to do to protect the family, to keep it moving in the right direction, and get through to the next day. And that
Mm-hmm.
really hasn't changed a lot.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I really appreciate that you asked that question. Like, how do anything that I appreciate more about my dad now
Mm-hmm.
than I did when I was younger? And it's one that I'm going to keep thinking on. Um, you know, one
Mm-hmm.
thought that I do have is that, you know, the things that I appreciated when I was younger, I still appreciate now. Like the good things, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I've always noticed the good things about my dad. um and I've only, like, those things have only shown through even more clearly as I've gotten older. Like, I know that I've always known that he loved me. I did, even though he's literally never said the words "I love you" before. My dad's never said
Mm-hmm.
"I love you." And I know that he does. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that just wasn't in the culture of his family to talk like that. But even way back in the day, if my car broke down, he'd be there with a trailer to help pull it home. Like,
Mm-hmm.
anything that I ever needed, he would be there to help with. And he's still like that, and
Yeah.
he's like that for, like, I respect that about him tremendously, and I think that's a major way that he shows us love. I know that he's always thinking about us. He's always thinking about our well-beings. I think he's always thinking about our futures. I think a lot of, what he's done, and maybe this is like a area that'll be fruitful for me to think of, but I think a lot of what he's done has been in service of leaving a legacy, and not a legacy so that he'll be known and remembered, but, like, I think he's done a lot to, like, want to set us up for success in the future. And there's a chance that he took on a lot of hardship for that. It might have foregone a lot of comforts to be able to like leave us with more. So, he bought a farm. In fact, when my dad bought the farm that he has, it was the most expensive farmland ever purchased in Iowa. And so he started off his life, I think he was in his early to mid 20s when he bought it. And so he started his life in crushing debt, because he bought this insanely expensive farm. And really his dad kind of screwed him into that. So, because my dad he got out of college, he had a good job as a mechanical engineer. He's like, oh, I want to buy a place. And my grandpa was like, oh, the farm next door to my farm is going up for auction. And it's a really nice place. You should get it. And my dad was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. It's like 52 acres or something. And my dad was like, okay, uh, here's my absolute top dollar. This is as much as I could possibly pay for this farm. And my grandpa was like, okay. So my dad had my grandpa do the bidding because my dad thought that people would respect his bids more and would be less likely to bid against him. So my grandpa was
Mm-hmm.
basically bidding with my dad's money. And so
Oh, dang.
when the bidding was happening, like they reached my dad's, threshold and where my grandpa should have stopped bidding and he didn't, because my grandpa didn't want somebody else to have the farm. He wanted my dad to be next door. So my grandpa just kept bidding way above my dad's price and just didn't stop until he won. And so then, so he bought the farm with my dad's money, and that was way more than my dad could afford. And my dad's told this story many times, consistent, same story every time, that when the like assessor came to be like, okay, what were the results of the auction? Like who bought it? My dad is like, oh, I'm the buyer. And the guy was like, oh, what was the final number? And my dad told him what the final number was, and my dad threw up all over the guy's shoes. 'Cause he was just so sick that my grandpa had done that, because he just left him on the hook. And so he
Oh
started
my Lord.
off he started off in that crushing debt, which then made him, I think that made life extremely stressful for him. And so then he had to work all the time to get out of that. And so I think there's a, a lot of that really affected him. Um,
Yeah.
so I have an
Yeah.
understanding for why he was the way he was and the decisions that he's made along the way. And so I try not to
Yeah.
judge him too harshly, because I know that he got put in that position, which sucks, but also he could have sold it and done something else. But again, I go back to like we're all responsible for the decisions that we make, and we're equally responsible for the decisions that we don't make, because those are still decisions too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to think more about
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah. It's worth thinking about, right? Because I think there's times where, and one thing I've learned is you can't change a person who doesn't want to be changed,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't get something from somebody who doesn't want to give it to you,
Yeah.
right? And you
Yeah.
can
That's
take
very
that a
true.
thousand different,
Yeah.
you can take that a thousand different ways.
Yeah.
But when someone gets into their head, and maybe this was the case with that generation, is I don't need to say I love you, right? There was this movie I watched with Denzel Washington.
I knew the scene
Um,
immediately when you
and
said that. Go ahead.
yeah, and basically he's like, he basically is telling his son, I've provided you with a roof over your head, food on the table, clothes on your back. I don't need to do anything else
Yeah.
for you, right?
Yeah.
I've given you life. I'm supporting that life. And in this world that we live in, and again, a culture has a lot to do with it, that um, what you have compared to others is pretty damn good, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For in the grand scheme of things. And
Yeah.
I know that like that generation was just not big on I love yous,
Yeah.
especially if you were a man.
Right.
I told you my story with my dad,
Yep.
and it is, it is, I'm going to walk the walk instead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe they didn't say I love you, but you know what they did do? They've shown you, like your dad, dude. Hey dad, flat tire, be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey dad,
Exactly.
I'm short on rent. My dad was like in college, I'd be like, I'm short on rent. he'd bitch to me about it, but he'd still give me the money.
Oh yeah, my
Right.
dad
And
would
so
loan me
like
money
there,
in a heartbeat, and my dad's very
yeah,
generous with money. Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
exactly. And so just different ways of showing love. And to some people, maybe that's not what they, maybe the idea of love, there was a different definition of it or what it should be versus what it
mm,
is.
mm-hmm.
And when those two collide, then you get this, oh, well, you know, the different definition could cause a stir, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I don't know.
No, that's a
I
good
don't
point. There
know.
could be frictions between the generational differences in
Yeah.
the definition of love. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be interested
But
to
I'm in the
know,
same
like,
boat as you.
yeah, in
Yeah.
what way?
I'm in the same boat as you. Like I do it different now. I am telling my kids every day how proud I am of them and I love them and stuff like that. And I then think of, if I am doing this because that's what I wanted, and then I'm giving them all the love, and what will they be like
Yeah,
when, right? Like I wonder if I'm too soft on my kids
I wonder that
at
too.
certain times.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
I wonder. Oh, I
Like,
wonder that
do
too
yeah.
about you. No, I'm
Are
kidding.
we letting our kids get away with too much?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
real. You've heard I'm sure you've heard the saying, hard times make tough men make easy time make weak men make hard times, and that's the cycle.
Yep.
So then
And
I'm
that's the
like,
cycle.
okay,
Yep.
life was really hard for my grandparents, and so they worked really hard and made things like a little bit better for my dad's generation, but it was
Hmm.
still hard. So he worked really hard, gave us like, a pretty good life. Since I started with a good life, I make my kids' life like really cushy. Then I just don't want my kids to be the ones that go out and they're like, oh, I'm just used to getting whatever I want all the time without putting in any
Hmm.
effort. And then they're the ones that can't hack it. I don't think that's going to happen. I just like want to make sure that while I'm pouring love into them, that love is multifaceted, and love is doesn't just mean that you give a kid everything they want. If you love them, you also have to give them discipline and teach them respect and make them work hard. Like it's not really love to coddle a child to the point that you cripple them because they can't handle life.
Yep.
Like that would be my own weakness of like, it feels so good to give them that much love, or I'm not strong enough to hold my kids accountable. Like that wouldn't be love. That would be my own weakness.
Exactly. Exactly. I feel like there's more to talk about here,
Yeah.
especially on the differences between a man now and a man then. Do you think there's more to talk about on this topic, to where we're at a point now, do we go a little further in this episode, or do we have a part two of this?
Boy, I mean, if you know of a specific direction you want to go, we could keep going, or if you want to say this is an okay place to press pause, we could do that too. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, makes me want to like have some other conversations with folks outside of this and
Yeah.
bring that insight back.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, let's hit pause then. Let's
Okay.
stop this episode,
Okay.
and let's maybe we have a part two on Friday, when we get together on Friday. If
Hmm.
there's anything, you do some thinking, because one
Yep.
thing that we agreed on is maybe we need some more time to think about the topics on every episode that we record. This
Yeah.
gives us a whole week to think
Yep.
about how the definition of a man has kind of changed in father, and maybe we can get into more father or husband duties, and like specifics in the next
Okay.
episode, and we'll go from there. But great conversation. I think this was a great conversation. I like
Agreed.
how there was a lot of examples in
Hmm.
this conversation, and then also the BS, man. I just love
Yeah.
BSing, because you know it's crazy. When you listen to women talk about men, I feel like they give such a complex answer about what a man is that I can't agree with, because I feel like men are really, really simple creatures. Like feed us, respect us, and make sweet, sweet love to us. And we will damn near do whatever you want us to. Right.
Right. Yeah. 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 As long as you don't
I
have a
don't know if there's a
psychopath.
simpler.
Yeah. As long as you're
Yeah.
not a psychopath, I think
Yeah.
that's probably all largely true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and so anyway, I don't know. Like I'm guessing that if you take that back to 1950 and you keep, and then you also take it to 2025, I'm guessing if a woman did those three things for a man to a man, then their life was really good. Like
Right.
everybody's happy at that point.
Right.
And so,
Right.
uh,
Which makes me wonder, like, if there's, I wonder if women have similar conversations outside, like when it's just women around, like what they would say. Well, if men would just X, Y, and Z, or like, are
right.
there parallels that are the same today as they were in 1950 that the woman
Mhm.
would say, oh yeah, if things were like that today, then I'd be super happy. Like, I wonder, and I
Yeah.
wonder which has changed. It seems like that both roles have changed quite a bit. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now that, like, men have come more into the home life and women have gone more into the workforce, that
Work
there's just
life.
like a big shift has happened. And
Yeah.
there's a uh, I would guess that a lot of men would probably say, if asked, they'd probably say that they would like, they wouldn't mind how things were in the 50s if their salary could really be enough to like cover everything and their wife wouldn't have to work, and um and all of that, then they'd be super happy with that. But I don't know if the opposite would be true. If women would say like, oh yeah, we'd like to go back to that too. But what's funny is, and this is just 100% observational on my part, like, I will say that the older I get, the more and more and more I hear women in my life talk about like wishing they didn't have to work, you know, and just wishing they could just stay home and raise the kids. And like that's actually honestly surprised me some, because in the past 25 years of, being out, going to college and going to grad school and being in social work, I've been like thoroughly immersed in like, women work hard and women are in the workforce and that's essential. And absolutely all for like women in the workforce doing everything that they want to do, always, like, definitely. But
Yeah.
it's surprised me just the amount of people that I actually know personally, women that, when we're just having honest conversations, just straight up say, I wish I didn't have to work. I wish my husband's income was enough to take care of everything. I would much rather not work or barely work or something like that. It's like a lot of women that I know are like that. And I actually don't blame them at all. Like, when they say that, I always have a
No.
similar response, like, oh yeah, absolutely. Me too.
Me
If I could
too.
be in that
Yep.
situation,
Me
that'd be
too.
incredible.
I told this. Me and my wife have had that exact same conversation, and she wishes too that she could be a stay-at-home wife and mother, and
Mhm.
run the house and run the kids and run the groceries and the house, and even had the conversation of like if this was something that you were serious about, we might be able to make it work, but we have to sacrifice in other
Right.
areas financially,
Right.
right? But with that said, um, I would be 100% in support of that.
Yeah.
100% in support of that.
Right. Yeah. As long as you could
And
bring everything in alignment with it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely,
tricky. My
absolutely.
wife my
And
wife would
it's
want the same thing for sure. My wife has, well, so first of all, my wife is an extremely hard worker. She does not have a lazy bone in her
mhm,
body. So I don't want anybody to think that I like think she's less than or can't work hard, because holy shit, she will work herself ragged. But
mhm,
she's a barber and her work's very hard on her body, and she has already cut back. She's cut her hours
mhm,
back a lot. She works part-time now by her own choice, and fully wishes she could work less. And to your
mhm.
point, like, I'd be on board with that if we could figure out how to do that financially, which there's definitely a way that we could do it, but it would mean cutting back in other areas. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's just
and
a
that's and my wife has an extremely stressful job. She is in the corporate world and she just has work coming in and stacking up and extremely tight deadlines and organization and things like that. And she at times gets overwhelmed with the amount of work that she has. And I know she wants to do something different because of that. I wonder what it was, right? I wonder, was it the quote unquote feminist movement? Was it what all of a sudden women decided, hey, we wanted to be treated as equal, so we're going to go to college and we're going to be doctors and we're going to do all this other stuff, and we're going to leave the house? Or was it because financially inflation hit and everything started going up, so in order to just survive you needed two incomes into the house? Right. And I think a lot of it had to do with the state of inflation over the years.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it's all of the above. And I think there actually is already research out there on the economics of that literally all of those things
Economics
affected it. That, yeah, all of a sudden inflation turned that, made it so that one income couldn't cover everything anymore. Or people just plain wanted more. And if you want more, then you have to have more money. But if the husband's job isn't increasing in salary as fast as the household's wants for things are, I think luxuries blew up considerably. It was like a luxury to have a car. When TVs came out, as a luxury to have one TV. Like I think people just lived with a lot less luxury back in the day, and I think that it was easier for them to go without things. I think also, I think the credit card didn't even exist until like 1950-ish. Might have even been later than that, but before that, so few people lived on credit. Like you could only buy what you could afford, and if you didn't have the money, you just didn't get the thing. And so I think people were much less materialistic, and I think that it's like, okay, we want to buy an automobile. How much does that cost? $4,500. Okay, we're going to start saving, and they started saving, and they bought it when they had the money. I think my parents, or my grandparents, I mean, explained that they didn't buy stuff until they had the money for it. I was like, yeah, that's a very different way of living. So yeah, I think a lot of factors changed.
Yeah, lots of factors, which potentially could be covered on next week's episode.
That's right.
So, Kyle, dude, my new accountability partner.
That's right.
Thank you very much for talking with me today. Thanks for everyone who is listening to the Man Therapy Podcast. Do me a huge favor. Do me and Kyle a huge favor. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you download and listen to the Man Therapy Podcast. Leave a 5-star review. Let everybody know that it's worth listening to, and that will help us get indexed, and it will help us spread the word about the Man Therapy Podcast. Kyle, until Friday, my friend, we'll talk to you
tonight when we
text.
Text you tonight.
Right. Accountability.
All right, see you, bud.